Now on CoastTV News.
Dealing with the heat, how people on the coast are trying to stay cool this week.
And drinking lots of water, that's what people in Ocean City are doing before they hit the beach.
Also, sidewalk sanctions. What new rules could be hitting the concrete in Dewey Beach?
And because of that same heat, we have some very quick developing isolated thunderstorms that have recently prompted severe thunderstorm warnings. It's just been allowed to expire as of this hour, but as we track this, it's bringing with it 70-mile-per-hour winds, penny-sized hail, and a whole lot of rain.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Mercury rising on Delmarva today. Good evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Madeline Overturf is on assignment.
We are just days away from the official start of summer, but if you were outside today, you know it feels like summer's already here. The heat index could hit triple digits tomorrow, and people on the coast are definitely feeling that heat. Coast TV News reporter Ana Sofia Roman shows us how staying cool is the name of the game.
Battling the heat at the Shear Center in Georgetown. Lynn Francis says she has a plan to stay cool.
Mainly coming here to keep out of the heat because when I'm here, I'm freezing. So to stay out of the heat, I come here. But at home, I stay in the air conditioning and I stay with my little doggie.
Others like Jack Gibbs say jobs like mowing the lawn still needs to get done, just maybe with a few breaks in between.
Drink water, plenty of water, and I got my little ice cooler, got my cooler and water in my truck. I might work a couple hours, go home, get in my recliner, and when it cools back down, I come back out.
There are always activities indoors to help battle the heat. Donald Kellycott says he enjoys coming into the Shear Center and sitting at what they call the Uno table.
I enjoy the heat. I have my short sleeve shirt on, but I come in here because it's air conditioned and cool.
Staying cool in Sussex County as summer heats up.
Now today the UV index was a 9, which means the burning effect of the sun is just shy of extreme levels, and this will linger for the next 5 days.
Meanwhile, as we take a live look into Rehoboth Beach, looks decent there. It was just raining on us here in Milton, and for more on that, we need to check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams.
Well, similar to that old saying, location, 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 as it pertains to real estate, well, that's what it means as it pertains to where the storm is affecting the real estate. Now, you notice in Lewis, which is only a stone's throw from Rehoboth, we see the ominous aspects of the clouds as that storm is passing close to the folks that are in Lewis at this present time. So we have to be mindful of that, and temperatures are going to stay in the 70s, so we're really juiced with a lot of heat and humidity prior to the official beginning of summer. Now, this is the storm we've been keeping a very close eye on. This storm has had a history of producing hail, penny-sized hail, 70-mile-per-hour straight line winds. Now, not that 70-mile-per-hour winds are a good thing, but it's better than, let's say, circulatory winds, which indicate possible early indications of tornadic activity. We had a couple of circulation indicators previously, but it's a really fast mover for right now as it pushes across. Look, this just popped up. We're going to see what that is. That's actually a storm damage that's being reported courtesy of our radar at this present time. Now, as this is tracking over towards the east, it's going to hit Lewis full throttle with all of its strength within the next 7 minutes. So within 7 minutes, if you're in the Lewis area, you're about to hit there. And for the folks that are in Rehoboth, although it looked like a pristine and clear picture, you're going to see a change within 9 minutes, okay? 8 minutes for Lewis, 9 minutes for Rehoboth as that continues to track towards the east. Now, a couple of things. As we take a look at this aspect, I'm going to begin to dissect this a little bit more. You can see it's reaching beyond 30,000 feet. So it's a classic severe thunderstorm for right now, but it's not prompting the latest warning. The warning did expire at 5 o'clock, just about 4 minutes ago, but that storm is still racing quickly out of Milton, because it's a fast mover, to the east at about 35 miles per hour. I don't foresee it causing a tremendous amount of problem, but when it hits quickly and profoundly. So please keep that in mind as that is continuing to track towards the east at this point. Now, as I widen the scope of this, the good news is I don't see much that's developing behind it. And a lot of folks are very skittish about this because we have so much heat that, for example, that was an example in Ana Sofia Roman's package. That much heat, that much thermodynamic energy in place could allow for anything to jump off so quickly and so aggressively with little to no warning. But right now we're looking pretty good. Now, please keep in mind for the entire area, we are still under a severe thunderstorm watch. Means that all the ingredients are in place for this to turn into an ugly situation quickly. But as I said previously, it looks like it's breaking up quickly for us and won't preserve or cause another problem. And it's also beginning to just pull out of Georgetown at this particular juncture, and a wider view of this indicating that we're going to settle into some things. Now, I'm not expecting the storm that we see right now to last beyond the 5:30 hour. This should be a short-lived storm. Should not continue until, by the time we get to the 6 o'clock newscast, shouldn't even have a problem or a peep out of this system. But we're going to keep an eye on it right now while it's continuing to tiptoe through our immediate area. Charlie?
Thank you, Paul. Moving down the coast now to see how people along the beach were dealing with the rising temperatures earlier today. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zappe, see, he's right there in Ocean City. Kevin, people today telling you they were feeling the heat.
Charlie, we talked to people along the Ocean City beach who told Coast TV they had to bring extra shade and water for this hot day. Now, today was one of the first hot days along the coast, which means plenty of people took cover using umbrellas, cooled off in the ocean, and put on sunscreen. We talked to Sergeant Timothy Ubel from the Ocean City Beach Patrol, who tells Coast TV that drinking water is essential during these summer-like days.
We experience a lot of heat-related emergencies, heat exhaustion, and then possibility of heat stroke during days like today.
Now, if you're planning to hit the beach this summer, be sure you're ready to take on the sun. I'm Kevin Zappe, live in Ocean City, Coast TV News.
Moving on now, the Delaware General Assembly was back in session today, and District 20 Representative Stell Parker Selby was absent once again. Parker Selby has missed every single House vote this year. That's at least 177 votes. Now, politicians have confirmed that Parker Selby had a stroke this winter.
And this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what do you think? Should Delaware Governor Matt Meyer influence his party to act on Stell Parker Selby's absence?
Let's take a look at the results now. 90% saying yes, 10% saying no.
If you haven't voted yet, or if you want to leave a comment, you can do that. Go to coasttv.com or use the Coast TV mobile app. New in Sussex County Council has approved its budget. The roughly $285 million spending plan for fiscal year 26 is up more than 7% compared to the current year. It will lower the property tax rate from 44.5 cents to 2.14 cents per $100 of assessed value. Now, officials say the drop there, that's to compensate for higher property valuations from recent reassessments. The plan also includes $6 million to help with operational costs for fire companies and almost $7.5 million to preserve open space and farmland. For a full breakdown of all that information on the budget, you can visit coasttv.com.
In Dewey Beach, you can find many businesses right on Coastal Highway. That's where most car traffic is, also foot traffic. Now there could be a change to how sidewalks in town are maintained. Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson joining us live in Dewey Beach. Brandon, commissioners considered some new rules today.
Christina, if passed, these rules would apply to each and every one of the sidewalks against Coastal Highway here in Dewey Beach, but these rules won't be tested until the winter. On Friday, Town Council could vote to put snow removal on sidewalks against Coastal Highway on the property or business owners themselves. The proposed rule says if it snows less than 6 inches, you must remove it 24 hours after it stops. For more than 6 inches of snow, property owners would have 48 hours to remove it before receiving a $50 fine. One business Coast TV spoke with on Coastal Highway aren't fans of the proposed change.
So we're going to be walking the doggies no matter what in any of the weather. So I think honestly the town should be able to help us out and basically get the snow plowed.
Dewey Beach Town Manager Bill Zalper tells Coast TV the town only has 2 maintenance workers, and their first priority are to clear emergency routes before they touch the sidewalks. Live in Dewey Beach, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
Coming up, how a Supreme Court ruling could reshape access to gender-affirming care.
And we've gone ahead and dug into that information. There's actually been wires down along Church Street at about 4:28 near Bridgeville. That's what's happening, and we're continuing to track this storm as it moves over towards the Lewis area, starting to see the storm and the conditions take a turn for the not so great.
But first, President Trump continues to weigh his options on how to respond to Iran. That's up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
Maybe he will, maybe he won't. That's the word from President Trump as he decides if America will get more involved in the Israel-Iran conflict.
NBC's Ryan Nobles shows us how lawmakers on Capitol Hill are debating whether the president has the power to order a strike on Iran unilaterally.
As rockets rain down in Israel and Iran, President Trump weighing all his options to keep Iran from building a nuclear weapon. According to several current and former administration officials, that includes a possible U.S. military strike.
I may do it, I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
Trump spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu yesterday.
He said, keep going.
The president saying he's running out of patience with Iran and called on the country to surrender. In a recorded message aired on Iranian TV, Iran's Ayatollah Khomeini scoffed at the idea and said that if the U.S. intervenes, that would cause irreparable damage. But the Trump administration has been in talks with Iran for weeks. Nothing came of them.
And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction.
Trump allies backing the president.
If diplomacy fails, use force.
But the president may need diplomacy within his own party. On Capitol Hill, Republicans joining Democrats on a resolution to require the president to get congressional approval before any action.
We should have some say-so about it, especially if it involves possible World War III, in which it could.
He's fully within his authority to act in that manner, and that is what the commander-in-chief is supposed to do.
And while the president urges civilians to leave Tehran, U.S. officials are coordinating planes and ships to take Americans out of Israel.
Because this is something that's never happened before with all these ballistic missiles. Obviously, it was not safe to stay there. I had to just come back.
And back here on Capitol Hill, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth would not reveal the details of the administration's options, but said that once the president makes a decision, the military will be ready to act. Ryan Nobles, NBC News, Washington.
Staying in Washington, the Supreme Court has upheld a Tennessee law restricting gender-affirming care for children, marking a pivotal shift in transgender rights. The court was divided on ideological lines, with the 6 conservatives in the majority and the 3 liberals in dissent. The ruling could reshape access to transgender care for kids across more than 20 states. The ruling doesn't, though, settle all legal questions around these state bans. The justices did not weigh in on whether the laws violate a parent's right to make medical decisions for their children under the 14th Amendment.
Right now, we are under a severe thunderstorm watch, at least until the 7 o'clock hour. The storm we've been tracking is now over Lewis and headed straight for Rehoboth within the next, I'd say, 2 minutes. But the good news is it is starting to weaken. Stick around, so we'll continue to track this storm. We've been tracking a very potent and very dangerous storm that prompted a severe thunderstorm warning, but now that has been allowed to expire, and we're starting to see the storm kind of dwindle out a little bit, but it's still causing some visibility problems, as you can see, courtesy of our Lewis camera. 81 degrees, even after the rain has hit, we are still at 81 degrees, a clear indicator of the abundance of thermodynamic energy we have in place. And what's happening in Lewis should come to an end, I'd say, within the next 15 or so minutes. Here's the last look at what's happening with these scattered showers. And you see that last little cell that's racing across Highway 9, coming out of Georgetown, going towards Lewis. This is going to continue to track its way towards the east and out of the way. Now, we had several reports from Cordova, near Denton, and Goldsboro, and all those areas. So we've had some damage reports. We had multiple trees down in Denton. That was reported at about 4:09. Then we actually had in Bridgeville, wires down on Church Street. So we may have some power outages there from just this simple straight line wind thunderstorm. By the way, winds in excess of 65 to 70 mile per hour wind. That was reported at 4:28. And this is where the storm is nestling and nesting right now. Just north of Angola by the bay. Dewey Beach is starting to get a little bit of rain, but the heaviest rain at this moment is actually in Lewis, and it's going to start leaning right into the Rehoboth Beach area. A wider view of this is showing you that in general, we have this area that's under a severe thunderstorm watch. Now here's the difference, just as a reminder as we go into this season. A warning means we have an active thunderstorm that's causing problem. It's there, like a cake already coming out of the oven. A watch, which is what we're under right now, a watch, simply means all the ingredients are on your grandmother's table to make the cake, okay? And that's where we are. We're not in the baking phase. We're still in the making phase for right now, even with this storm moving quickly out. But look, we got enough batter to work with here. We're looking at 88 degrees in Gumboro and Dagsboro, 90 in Bethany Beach. But look at the difference. But in Lewis, with the rain, it drops the temperature to 75 degrees. The dew point temperature, which is part of the driving force of typical diurnal thunderstorms, that's in the 70s, 73, 72, 71. Just massive amount. And the dew point temperatures for the rest of the night will stay elevated in the 70s, which is why we got to kind of watch things a bit. By 8 o'clock, we'll see another spot that's going to develop south of Seaford, but it doesn't look as intense, so that's good. Then I got to skip over to Thursday. This is my next concern. Thursday at 10 o'clock, we need to have another discussion, okay? You see those purples? That's beyond the reds and the yellows. Look up. Look at the purples I'm showing you. This is at 10 o'clock for Thursday, okay? Be sure you watch out for that. Okay, now let's try to finish the forecast like we regularly would, okay? So for tomorrow, temperatures start off in the 90s. For Thursday, we're looking for temperatures in the 90s and 80s. Lewis, Rehoboth, Dewey Beach, and we're looking at elevated heat energy that's going to be in place for us. And last but not least, despite the rain, this is another concern. You see these 9s running across here? The UV index is going to be at a very high level, only about 2 away from extreme. The burning aspects of the sun, despite the rain we're going to get here and there, is going to be a very dangerous thing when you take a cumulative approach to this, okay? Please be mindful of that. As we get ready to round this thing up, for Assateague, we're looking at temperature starting in the 80s. 89 in Fenwick Island, then we stay at about mid-80s by Saturday. And then for Lewis, we're watching out for 91 on Thursday, 86 for Rehoboth Beach. Finally, here's a look at the extended forecast. Now, I'm going to keep Thursday under a yellow alert day because the heat alone is something we need to watch out for, let alone a chance of a random thunderstorm just popping up out of all this heat that's already present.
All right, thank you so much, Paul. And coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 8:30, it's the Blue Gold Field Hockey. Then at 10:30, the final score. And over on the DSN Plus app, right now it's CBA Summer League Boys Basketball. Then at 6, Crown Sports Center High School League Boys Basketball. And at 7:30, Laird Farm takes on Wrench Plumbing in baseball.
We salute Jim Weig. Jim Weig honorably served as an aviator in the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War, earning the nickname Spy in the Sky for his critical role in locating enemy signals and relaying their positions. He flew in countless dangerous missions, demonstrating courage and precision under pressure. Following his active duty, he continued his service in the Army National Guard for 20 years. We salute Jim Weig for his dedication, bravery, and lifelong commitment to our nation's defense.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
Karen Reed was found not guilty of second-degree murder in her retrial in Massachusetts this afternoon. Reed was accused of drunkenly striking her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, and leaving him to die in the snow in 2022. Reed was also found not guilty of leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death. However, she was found guilty of drunk driving. Reed was sentenced to a 1-year probation. That's no jail time. A crowd of Reed's supporters had gathered outside the courthouse and erupted into cheers when that verdict was read.
Now here's a live look outside into Laurel. We'll have one more check on the forecast coming up after this.
Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, fallout from the bombshell interview Coast TV conducted yesterday with this Democrat.
Right now, we're still under a severe thunderstorm watch until 7 o'clock, but the last cell that was actually causing concern, now that's beginning to dwindle out and move offshore. Ryan Priest of Milton is our umbrella winner. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling. Keep in contact with the forecast by calling our weather line, 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away, sponsored by the law offices of Brogstead, Mandalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Listen, we're still going to hold with the yellow alert day for Thursday, particularly Thursday night for the storm, but Thursday during the day because of the heat.
All right, thanks again, Paul, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we're going to see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.